On February 15, 1977, a two-ton steel gauge called Angus was lowered to the seafloor near the Galapagos Islands. It was equipped with cameras and powerful strobe lights and a sensor that could detect water temperature changes as small as 0.005 of a degree. Angus took thousands of photos throughout the night, as researchers monitored temperature readings for a rise that would signal they had discovered what they were seeking for, a deep marine hydrothermal vent. The scientists developed the 3,000 images that Angus had taken on its 16-kilometer tour the next day and examined every single photo frame by frame. All of the photographs taken before the temperature anomaly indicated only by barren terrain, but for 13 frames during the temperature spike, the photos revealed hundreds of white clams and brown mussel shells on the seafloor. The researchers were confused by what they had just found because with no light trickling down, the deep seafloor is supposed to be a barren wasteland. So they prepared Alvid, a 3-person deep sea research submarine, to investigate the spot where the temperature spike occurred. What they discovered astonished them: warm shimmering water coming from the small fractures in the ocean floor. This is the first ever discovered deep sea hydrothermal vent, but what they absolutely did not expect to find was a vibrant, bizarre, unusual and dense community of animals thriving there. Then they discovered a vent site filled with gigantic 8-foot-tall white stalk tube-worm with bright red tops, as well as many strange-looking white crabs. The discovery of these species was so surprising since it was previously thought that photosynthesis was required for the entire planet's food chain and that no community of animals could survive without it. The first clue came from the water samples taken from the vents. When the researchers opened the first water sample, the room smelled like rotten eggs. The water was full of hydrogen sulfide, and the chemicals released by the vents allowed the creatures to survive at these depths without sunlight. This could be the start of a major breakthrough in chemistry and biology that changes our understanding of how and when life began on Earth. Deep ocean hydrothermal vents usually arise along mid-ocean ridges like East Pacific Rise and Mid-Atlantic Ridge. These are the points where two tectonic plates diverge and a new crust is forming.
The process of hydrothermal vent formation started when seawater percolates through fissures in the ocean crust where there are plumes of hot magma close to the surface. The ocean crust occurs because of tectonic plates movement. Then the seawater gets superheated by hot magma and emerges to form the vents. It may reach temperature of over 370 degrees Celsius. As pressure builds and the seawater becomes hot, it begins to dissolve mineral from the surrounding rock. The hot seawater that now becomes hot mineral-rich fluid rises toward the surface, exits through the vents, and mixes with cold seawater above. When the fluid meets cold seawater, the dissolved minerals and inorganic sulfide precipitate out as small particles that turn the water to black and look like smoke. This precipitation also can form different types of hydrothermal vent structure and could form hot, tall, and rocky chimney that can grow thousands of meters tall. There are two types of hydrothermal vents. The black smoker type have higher temperature, dark color, taller chimney, and form from deposit of iron sulfide, while the white smoker type have lower temperature, lightly color, and form from deposit of barium, calcium, and silicon. The hydrothermal vents were surrounded by diverse ecosystem that consists of many amazing organisms.
In deep sea creatures, there are more than 590 new animal species that have been discovered living at vents. Even with such extreme condition of the hydrothermal vents, they are still habitable for a range of animals, which leads to one question: how can life manage to survive there? Without the presence of sunlight, the ecosystem in hydrothermal vents are tied to microbes that can use chemical energy to make organic compounds. This process is called chemosynthesis, which is carried out by bacteria. This is similar to photosynthesis used by plants, but instead of using light energy from the sun, the bacteria use chemical drawn from the vent fluid. These bacteria play an important role as the primary producer in the deep sea ecosystem. Some species are already adapted to thermal vent site, for example the yeti crab. This family of crabs can only be found at the hydrothermal vent. The crabs' arms are full of hair that support large colony of filamentous bacteria. I speculate that they might be farming the bacteria for a source of food. Their tiny hair act as sensors that help them find food or mates in the deep sea floor. The Syahputra tube-worm is an example of other vents animal. They completely lose the ability to feed as they do not have any mouth, gut, or anus. Thus, they harbor in their body tens to 100 billion of chemoautotrophic microbes that provide nutrition for them. After all this time, we only discovered 5% of Earth's ocean and it already has so much to learn. Imagine what could be out there that we don't know. There are so many more species and sea flora to be discovered in the deep ocean. If those animals can evolve to survive, we also can evolve to create technology to discover all of them.